สถานีวิทยุสรานรม AM1575 การทูตเพื่อประชาชน
เพื่อไทยก้าวไกลทันโลก
It is now 6 p.m. here on Radio Saranrom, AM1575, the radio station of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Thailand. You are now listening to News and Views with me, Venus Atsawapum. I'd like to begin this evening with part of a statement by our Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha at the Global Leaders Meeting on Gender Equality and Women's Empowerment, a commitment to action at the United Nations headquarters in New York, which occurred on the 27th of September 2015. Part of it began with Thailand had the honor of chairing the 59th session of the Commission on the Status of Women this past March, where we review the progress made in implementing the Beijing Declaration. While progress has been made in giving women and girls equal opportunities and equal access as their male counterparts, yet challenges remain in the quest to fully realize gender equality so as to enable women to live with dignity and participate fully in their societies as well as in their country's development. On Thailand's part, our efforts to promote women's issues and women's development were put in motion beginning in 1972 and have continued ever since to enable women to reach their full potential as productive members of society side by side with men. The Thai government has implemented an education for all policy, enabling all youth, girls and boys to have equal access to education and allowing Thailand to achieve the Millennium Development Goal of eliminating gender disparity at all levels of education. Moreover, Thailand has continuously improved and developed legislation to promote women's rights and gender equality, to protect women from domestic violence and from sexual violations and harassment in the workplace, as well as to combat and suppress human trafficking, while also taking care of and rehabilitating victims of human trafficking, who are mostly women and children. Recently, Thailand promulgated the 2015 Gender Equality Act, which became effective on the 9th September 2015 to protect everyone from gender-based discrimination. Thailand is resolved to move forward on gender equality in the following areas. First, by developing a curriculum on gender roles to cultivate positive attitudes and an acceptance of gender equality in children from an early age. Second, by collecting sex disaggregated data for analytical purposes and for formulating gender-sensitive policy, as well as for monitoring progress made in the realization of gender equality. Third, by providing training to relevant public agencies in order to promote gender-responsive budgeting. Thailand's next National Economic and Social Development Plan will also focus on people-centered, inclusive development and also on reducing social inequality. This will provide further opportunities for women to participate even more equally in our national economic and social development. Promoting gender equality is not a matter that lies only in the hands of women. Men and boys must also do their part to foster positive attitudes on gender roles. This will help end all forms of discrimination against women, as well as eliminate violence against women and girls. And the Prime Minister said that, I believe that promoting gender equality begins with each and every one of us. It begins in our homes, our schools, and our communities. Each and every one of us can and must play a part in making our societies better. The matter is close to heart. In the past, I've witnessed, known, and also helped some female victims of domestic violence. I am hopeful to see Thailand engage more both internally and internationally on gender equality and women's empowerment. Next is news and unprecedented development recently approved by the cabinet in Thailand. Bloomberg reports that Thailand is to offer supercluster firms more tax incentives and more. Thailand is offering incentives to selected industries in hopes of strengthening the local economy. Deputy Prime Minister Somkit Jatusipitak says the cabinet has agreed to include such businesses as autos and auto parts, electrical appliances, telecom equipment, petrochemical and environmentally friendly chemicals and digital medical hubs in the supercluster. These will enjoy an 8-year corporate tax exemption, plus a 50% tax reduction for the subsequent 5 years, as well as permanent residency and rights to own land for foreign experts in the project, which is something quite interesting because in the past foreigners haven't been able to acquire permanent residency or rights to own land in Thailand. And Somkit adds that some businesses may be entitled to a 10% to a 15% reduction in corporate income tax and exemption of import duties for machinery and a personal income tax waiver for internationally recognized Thai and foreign experts. The conditions for eligible businesses are their collaboration with education or research institutes and actual project execution by the end of 2017. And I have a little bit more details of the projects in industrial cluster provided by the Bangkok Post. It is divided into 2 categories. One will be the supercluster integrating 6 industrial clusters, namely automotive, food processing, environmentally friendly petrochemicals and chemicals, medical services, digital and electronics, electrical appliances, and telecommunications equipment. Now the other category will comprise 2 normal clusters for agricultural processing and garments and textiles. Industry Minister said that the cabinet on Tuesday also approved placing the supercluster in 9 provinces. The food processing, medical services, and digital supercluster will be located in Chiang Mai and Phuket, while the automotive, petrochemicals and chemicals, and electronics, electrical appliances, and telecommunications equipment superclusters will be located in 7 other provinces. Industries in supercluster will be entitled to full corporate income tax exemption for 8 years and a 50% reduction for 5 years afterwards. The 2 normal clusters of agricultural processing industry and textiles and garments will be given full corporate tax exemption for 3 to 8 years and a 50% reduction for 5 years after that, plus exemption on import tariffs for machinery. And the 2 normal clusters will be scattered in selected provinces nationwide. So the new intensive comes in conjunction with the future development plans for the new special economic zones in Thailand. And Thailand hopes to draw more foreign investments, improve infrastructure, and to prepare itself to take advantage of the upcoming ASEAN community. Talk about something new and unprecedented. Have you heard about the doomsday seed vote? The civil war in Syria has prompted the first withdrawal from the Arctic Doomsday Vote. It is a seed storage unit built on an island between Norway and the North Pole to safeguard the world's food supply in the event of a global catastrophe, such as an outbreak of disease or nuclear war. And this is reported by Science Alert. Researchers in the Middle East have now asked to withdraw a range of drought-resistant crop seeds including wheat, barley, and grasses from the vault. They would usually get these seeds from a facility in Syria, but even though the seeds are still there and safe in cold storage, the scientists are unable to access them as a result of damage to the surrounding buildings caused by war. So the Doomsday Vault was built into the side of a frozen mountain in the Svalbard archipelago in 2008, and it's been specially designed to keep crucial crop seeds safe and ready to replant following pretty much any disaster you can think of. Even without power, the vault would be able to remain locked and frozen for 200 years. And now, the Syrian war will trigger the first withdrawal of seeds from the facility. The request was made by the International Center for Agricultural Research in Dry Areas, which was originally based in the Aleppo. And in 2012, the center moved to Beirut in Lebanon to escape the conflict, but they don't have access to their seed supplies, which is why they've asked to withdraw 130 of the 325 boxes they drop off to the vault before the war. The organization that runs the vault, it's called Crop Trust, said that the request will be carried out as soon as the paperwork is completed. Protecting the world's biodiversity in this manner is precisely the purpose of the vault. The vault currently includes more than 860,000 seed samples from almost every country on the planet. This withdrawal will take around 116,000 of those samples, according to Reuters, but there are new deposits being made to the vault each year, so there's no risk of the vault running out of seeds. So nothing to worry about, and the scientists will put the seeds to good use. The aim of the center is to help alleviate poverty and world hunger by growing, researching, and distributing crops that will grow better in dry areas. Now, more than ever, those are important goals, and with around 1/3 of the global population living in arid regions, their work could help to feed the whole lot of people. I think it's amazing that the Doomsday Vault is able to help them continue their research despite war in the region. Science prevails in this case. I'd like to draw your attention to the haze that's been going on, originating from Indonesia, affecting large areas including Malaysia, Singapore, and even the south of Thailand. And recently, a volunteer group called the Haze Elimination Action Team, or in acronym HEAT, wants to sue and boycott the companies involving in starting fires in Indonesia and put an end to the haze, according to Channel News Asia. The group is led by Dr. Ang Peng Hua, a professor at Nanyang Technological University's School of Communication and Information. Speaking to the Channel News Asia on Friday, Dr. Ang said that they're looking to identify an ideal plaintiff to successfully sue the companies. Most of us has incurred some form of loss during the haze, said Dr. Ang. What we are looking for is someone or an organization that has incurred losses of a few $1,000s or more due to the haze. An ideal plaintiff would be someone who has been hospitalized, for example, he said. He cited hotels and tour agencies which had their bookings canceled as other examples. He asked potential plaintiffs to keep their receipts and contact him privately. This person or company would not have to pay anything, he added. The group was formed in 2007 and had about 800 members from all walks of life, ranging from housewives and students to working professionals. After haze levels reached hazardous levels in Singapore last Thursday, its Facebook page saw an increase of about 40 members' requests. Now let's take a closer look at what's causing the Southeast Asia's haze. This information is from the BBC News. The forest fires in Indonesia have resulted in a smoky haze that is blanketing the region and affecting neighboring Malaysia and Singapore, and of course some part of the south of Thailand as well. Both the haze and the controversy around it have intensified in recent years. But what causes it and what makes it such a contentious issue? Now, every year, Indonesia sees agriculture fires in the province at the East Sumatra, South Sumatra, and parts of Kalimantan on Indonesian Borneo. The fires are said to be caused by corporations, as well as small-scale farmers who use the illegal slash-and-burn method to clear vegetation for palm oil, pulp, and paper plantations. And this problem also happens in the north of Thailand almost every year. There's illegal slash-and-burn. The fires often spin out of control and spread into protected forested areas. The problem has accelerated in recent years as more land has been cleared for expanding plantations for the lucrative trade. The burnt land also becomes drier, which makes it more likely to catch fire the next time there are slash-and-burn clearing. Now, why is this an issue? So the haze gets blown north and westwards across affected Indonesian provinces, as well as towards Malaysia, Singapore, and Thailand, causing a significant deterioration in air quality, especially in Malaysia and Singapore. I have a Thai girlfriend who's married to a Singaporean, and she moved to Singapore a couple of years ago, and almost every year she had to make an urgent trip during the haze to bring her family to her hometown in Thailand, just so that they could escape the haze and keep themselves healthy. What happened during the haze is that sometimes schools is cancelled, and the condition is so bad that they shouldn't be leaving the house at all. They have to keep all the doors and the windows locked and stay inside just to keep the pollution of the haze out as much as possible. So it can be a health hazard, and at its peak it has prompted school closure, flight cancellations, and virtual shutdowns of towns and cities. Singapore and Indonesia use the Pollutant Standards Index to measure air quality, while Malaysia uses the similar Air Pollutants Index. In both indices, a reading that is above 100 is classified as unhealthy, and anything above 300 is hazardous. So Indonesia recently declared a state of emergency in Rio province. One of its towns saw the reading of 984. That's more than 3 times the hazardous level of 300. And of course, about 10 times over what's classified as unhealthy. Malaysia declared state of emergency in 2013 when a southern district saw readings of more than 750. Besides irritating the respiratory tract and eyes, pollutants in the haze can cause serious long-term damage to health. The indices used to measure air quality in the region usually measure particulate matter, fine particulate matter, sulfur dioxide, carbon monoxide, nitrogen dioxide, and ozone. And the condition that's really bad, it's most dangerous as it can enter deeper into the lungs, and it has been associated with causing respiratory illnesses and lung damage. So what's been done to stop it? Indonesia has been dumping millions of liters of water in affected areas and has sent in the army to help firefighters put out the fires. Indonesia and Malaysia have also conducted cloud seeding to induce rain, while Singapore has pledged assistance to help put out fires. In 2002, all 10 Southeast Asian countries signed an agreement to combat the issue through greater monitoring and encouragement of sustainable development. However, the efforts have been limited, which is unfortunate. You must be wondering why it has been so difficult to stop. So Indonesia has long struggled to police the vast rural expanse in Sumatra and Kalimantan. Even in the north of Thailand, the area it's not that huge, but it's been difficult to prevent the slash and burn or the haze from happening. But Indonesia and environmental rights activists also say it's not entirely to blame, as some of the corporations accused of illegal burning have Malaysian and Singaporean investors, which caused quite, an upset in Indonesia. Singapore in 2014 passed a set of laws that allowed it to prosecute individuals and companies that contribute to the haze, but it remains unclear how this law could be enforced. So it should be interesting to see if the lawsuit mentioned earlier would be carried out and would have a greater effect on the haze pollution in Southeast Asia. And there have also been name and shame campaigns and calls to boycott the products of company said to be contributing to the haze. In the meantime, Indonesian authorities continue to struggle to put out the fires, many of which have flared up on flammable and dry peat-rich area. A peat fire is difficult to put out as it can burn underground for months and requires a lot of water to extinguish. Fires can spread underground and spring up in other places later. So that's the information about the haze situation in Southeast Asia. I owe you some update on the science, but we are running out of time already today, so I'll talk about more on the science update for the next news and views. If you have any inquiries, questions, or comments, please write a letter or send a postcard to Venus at Sawatpum at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Thailand, 443 Rama 6 Road, Ratchathewi, Bangkok 10400, or you can email me at saranrom, saranrom, at mfa.go.th, as well as follow me in other programs on Facebook and YouTube, Saranrom Radio. Thank you for tuning in to News and Views. Have a very pleasant evening. สวัสดีค่ะ